How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. Now today we've got something a little bit special for you. It's some bonus content for the week. It's a massive compilation of some of the scariest video clips going round. So sit back, relax and enjoy. Our first bizarre clip of the day comes directly from NASA. On April 19th, 2022, an enormous unidentified object was seen hovering near the sun. The object looks as though it's draining plasma directly from the surface of the sun. Whatever it is, it remains in place for several hours, then just speeds off into space, leaving no trace at all. Interestingly, 10 years prior, in March 2012, a similar object was spotted near the sun. It too appears to be drinking plasma from the sun. It then speeds away into the darkness of space. Some have estimated the size of the object to be several times larger than planet Earth. Naturally, as the two pieces of footage went viral, many have speculated it might be an enormous alien mothership refueling. Counter-arguments wondered how an object that big could possibly move through our solar system without being openly detected. Some commenters said that an alien race might be billions of years ahead of the human race in terms of technology, and it's quite possible that we can't even fathom their appearance, so perhaps they move freely around the universe and we're just unable to detect them. However, NASA's official statement called the event a prominence. A prominence is a large bright feature that extends outward from the surface of the sun. It's made up of hot plasma, which is a mixture of charged particles, and is held in place by the sun's magnetic field. They can sometimes erupt and release their plasma into the solar atmosphere, a phenomenon known as a coronal mass ejection, or a CME. CMEs can have significant impacts on Earth, including disruptions to satellite and radio communications, and can sometimes even lead to auroras at high latitudes. So what do you think? Are we just witnessing a so-called prominence, or is there more to this bizarre sighting? Let me know your theories on this one in the comments down below. This footage that was apparently sent to the uploader on April 29 of 2021 definitely looks like it was plucked from an eerie dream. Shared by Conspiration ESP via Twitter, the video shows an object that is commonly referred to by UFO researchers as a UFO sphere. The clip shows a strange red ball hovering through the air. For fans of Pokemon, the sphere in this footage from April of 2021 bears an uncanny resemblance to a red and white Pokeball. What's unique about this footage is that it was captured by passengers riding in a hot air balloon. As a result, it provides a very rare and unique vantage point of the UFO activity that would have gone completely undetected if the balloon journey hadn't taken place. What caused this strange dual-coloured sphere to appear in the sky? Is it a weather balloon? The top of a parachute? A case can be made for any of these reasonable explanations. However, the jarring presence of this out-of-place sphere appearing in the middle of nowhere is hard to shake off once you've seen it. On Christmas Eve of 2018, a woman named Deborah Thompson uploaded a video of a bizarre red sphere in the sky off the coast of Charleston, South Carolina that went on to make headlines.
What the hell is that?
It shows a glowing red ball floating in the night sky.
It seems to be coming like in this direction.
Could these two sightings be somehow linked? According to officials, over the last decade, UFO sightings have increased dramatically. This, coupled with reports from the Pentagon that strange unidentified objects have been seen flying through US airspace, makes for a puzzling and somewhat frightening conclusion. So what do you think these strange floating objects could be? Let me know your theories down below.
What the hell is that?
This interesting video appears to show UFOs flying past the moon. The footage, which was uploaded to YouTube by Jean-Michel Tanac, is dated March 26th of 2020. No context is given for the UFO footage, other than the fact it was filmed near Montreal. The footage appears to show 2 to 3 pill-shaped craft flying past the moon. While the objects appear small on the screen, their actual size would have to be massive. In fact, each craft could easily measure in at close to 100 miles across, when you take into account the actual size of the moon. The shape of the UFOs in this particular footage is particularly interesting for skywatchers. Several Navy pilots who have spoken out about UFO sightings in recent years have described the objects they observed as being shaped like Tic Tacs. What's more, several pilots claim to have seen similar objects on a near-daily basis between 2014 and 2015. Critics have been quick to chime in about the video's authenticity, however the footage is difficult to refute. The shadows created by the travelling objects are consistent and accurate. This has led some to hypothesize that the objects caught flying past the moon are actually small comets or pieces of space debris. Love to get your thoughts on this amazing piece of footage in the comments section below. What do you think, real or fake? In February 2022, something truly bizarre was caught on a security camera in Xicalapan de Juarez, about 20 miles east of Mexico City. The footage was uploaded to YouTube by Mousen TV. Take a look. The camera overlooks an empty lot. 3 stray dogs are spooked by an unknown floating object that hovers about the area. Here's the object through an infrared filter. It looks to be an amorphous blob that drifts through the air. Initially, people thought the footage was edited with CGI. However, the fact that the dogs interact with the object seems to discredit this theory. Some comments speculated whether the object is alien in nature, perhaps a craft of some kind collecting data here on Earth. Of course, there's a possibility it could just be a drone or perhaps a deflated balloon, but the amorphous quality of the object casts some doubt on this theory. It's definitely a strange piece of footage, and as of yet, there's been no official word on what this object really could be. When the police take to social media in order to find an answer to their potential UFO sighting, one can be sure some truly remarkable footage is being captured. Such is the case in the instance of this UFO footage posted by South Wales Police. Footage of an unidentifiable object was picked up by one of their helicopters thanks to their forward-looking infrared camera, or FLIR. Although the object was likely invisible to the naked eye, the heat signatures given off by the object were picked up by the FLIR. After picking up the odd object on their camera, the South Wales Police themselves were stumped and took to social media in order to ask if anyone was able to determine the source of the object. As clarified in their post, it's difficult to determine the size of the object, as well as what it could have potentially been. Images posted to their social media channels indicate the object is circular in shape, mirroring the traditional appearance of UFOs portrayed in the media. Filmed for around 7 minutes, the UFO captured by the South Wales Police helicopter is one of a few recent UFO sightings to have stumped the public. Ruling out both weather balloons and Chinese lanterns due to its apparent heat source, as well as its unique navigation pattern, few possibilities are left. What's more, air traffic control refuses to corroborate the presence of the UFO, begging the question, is this potential UFO sighting being covered up? While the South Wales Police were apparently fully aware they had come across something rare, it seems air traffic control will take no part in supporting this story. The first of two logical reasons behind this is the possible fabrication by the South Wales Police Force. If this object was posted by any random Twitter account, this possibility would seem far more likely. However, it's highly unlikely that a group such as this would take to posting the object to their social media. If it were a fake, they'd risk losing all their credibility with the public. The second and more believable solution would suggest that the UFO sighting is being covered up by air traffic control, opening up a whole new line of questioning for believers and non-believers alike. In the winter of 1992, an individual in Montreal, Quebec, Canada is said to have been shown photos of an alleged extraterrestrial biological entity, or EBE, by an acquaintance. The EBE was supposedly discovered by a snowmobiler in a field or wooded area not far from the road. When questioned further, the acquaintance revealed that the images belonged to their cousin who was from the Red River area in l'Annonciation, Quebec. The witnesses were supposedly unsure of what to do with the body, so they left it at the site overnight, only to find that it was gone the next day. The photos were later shown to ufologist Claude McDuff, who discouraged the individual from pursuing the matter further. Despite the warning, the individual eventually shared the photos in his YouTube video, seen here posted to the platform by Strange Videos. The footage has since garnered hundreds of thousands of views. The release of the video prompted diverse responses as some delved into analysing the figure's anatomical structure, positing that its atypical proportions could potentially indicate a non-human origin. Enthusiasm for the photos diminished over time, but in 2017, a video allegedly originating from the dark web surfaced, purporting to depict the capture of an extraterrestrial in Switzerland. This development reignited interest in the 1992 incident. To this day, the Red River EBE mystery remains unsolved, with numerous theories and explanations offered, but no definitive conclusion. Interestingly, it's been noted that the photos bear a striking resemblance to the cover image of a 1990 novel by French ufologist Jimmy Go. The novel is structured around a series of thrilling events as documented by a group of informants, primarily located in the United States. The image of the EBE featured on the book's cover is said to be a composite representation drawn from multiple eyewitness accounts. Despite continued speculation and investigation, the true origin of the EBE and the events surrounding its discovery remain shrouded in uncertainty. Uploaded to Reddit by user SigDoveTilmig, this is the only one of the recent UFO sightings we've discussed that gets a nice, close and clear view of the object. Taken from the perspective of a pilot flying at high altitude, The object comes within close proximity of the pilot's aircraft. Because of their unique perspective, the pilot is able to witness and record the UFO nearly at the same level as the craft. Although the object appears to be slightly smaller and travelling at speed, the general shape and velocity of the potential UFO are still apparent. Like many of the UFOs previously mentioned on this list, this UFO is circular. What's more, it appears to be travelling at an incredibly high speed as it flies past the airplane and continues out of shot. It even appears to be metallic. In the comment section of the video, one viewer said they got chills, as the object looked almost identical to one they saw when taking a flight from Las Vegas to Denver. Amusingly, the discussion on Reddit brought up a great point, one that is all too familiar in the world of UFO sightings. One user noted that when footage is blurry and unsteady, it's usually dismissed as nonsense. However, when the footage is clear and steady, as is the case here, everyone immediately calls it a fake. Either way, I'd love to get your opinions on this fascinating piece of footage. What do you think? Fake, aliens, or something else? Let me know down below. Are we alone in the universe? This is a question that has fascinated humankind for centuries. If this video uploaded to the YouTube channel Paranormal Witness is anything to go by, it seems that the answer to this question is no. There's very little accompanying information other than the footage was supposedly captured somewhere in the state of Massachusetts in the United States. The clip, which was captured at night, shows a young girl walking down the steps of what is presumably their home. She's not alone, however, as an unidentified camera holder follows closely behind. It's unclear why the footage is being shot in the first place. Perhaps they heard a strange noise and decided to investigate. Whatever the reason, the girl walks down the stairs and heads outside into the darkness of the night. For a few seconds, the footage is indiscernible. Moments later, something truly bizarre is caught on camera. Watch. As you can see, they're confronted by a creepy large-headed creature peering out from behind a tree. Its face is pale and it has large dark eyes. Its head is pointed at the bottom, giving its face an inverted triangular shape. There's little denying that the creature certainly resembles the classic depiction of an alien grey. Despite this, some viewers believe that the creature perhaps matches this description too obviously, suggesting it could simply be a human in a mask, one perhaps who planned to scare the little girl as part of a prank. Unfortunately, as there's no other information accompanying the video, it seems that this encounter will have to remain a mystery, at least for now. In 1973, in Pascagoula, Mississippi, something truly strange happened that's never been fully explained. According to the two men involved, Kelvin Parker and Charles Hickson, they were fishing on the Pascagoula River when they were approached by a UFO. The UFO was described as a football-shaped object with blue and white lights, and it hovered about 3 feet above the ground. As the UFO approached, Parker and Hickson claimed they were paralyzed and unable to move. They then reported that they were abducted by 3 humanoid creatures with lobster-like claws and slits for mouths. The creatures allegedly took the men aboard the UFO, where they were subjected to a series of physical examinations and medical procedures. The men claimed that they were released by the creatures after about an hour and that they returned home in a state of shock. They reported their encounter to the local authorities, who launched an investigation into the alleged abduction. The Pascagoula abduction gained widespread attention in the media, and it remains one of the most well-known UFO abduction cases in history. However, the incident has also been the subject of much skepticism and debate. Many people have questioned the credibility of the men's claims, and some have suggested that the incident may have been a hoax or a hallucination. The bizarre thing is, when the two men were detained for questioning at the local police station, the investigating officers placed the men in a room on their own and listened in on their conversation. The officers thought they would hear the men talking about how it was all just a big joke. Instead, the men appeared frightened and kept discussing the alleged alien abduction amongst themselves. They asked each other what had happened and tried to piece the whole thing together. Despite the controversy surrounding the case, the Pascagoula abduction continues to be a fascinating topic for many people, and it serves as a reminder that the universe is full of mysteries and unexplained phenomena. This video, uploaded to Reddit by Swiggy Baby, seems to show something strange flying through the sky in South Korea. It's a rare piece of raw aerial footage that shows the flight path of an unidentified flying object. The video shows clear wide views of a landscape just as a flying object whips by overhead. The object in the video appears to be very small. That definitely leads to questions about whether or not the object is actually a manned craft. Due to its size, we can't rule out the possibility of it being a highly advanced military drone. The sheer speed of the object is incredible. Here it is in slow motion. Of course, the speed of the object does also open up the possibility that this is an alien drone. Some viewers think that this is some type of extraterrestrial reconnaissance vessel conducting research for a future landing. Ultimately, this video is proof that someone's likely conducting surveillance over the skies. The real question comes down to whether the watchers are human or alien. A video uploaded by Esther Gem in 2017 appears to show two very strange, otherworldly circles in the sky. The circles appear to be drawn over the clouds. Flashes of light can be seen moving around the perimeters of both circles. The circumstances regarding where and when this footage was captured remain unclear. Many people are familiar with the circular contrails that often appear in the sky. That well-documented phenomenon is the result of hot, humid air from jet exhausts that mixes with low-pressure vapors and low temperatures in the environment. The strange circles captured in this footage certainly don't match the contrail definition. What's more, contrails are remnants of sky activity. The circles in this footage are very much part of something active. An alternative answer is that the footage shows the natural optical phenomenon of atmospheric halos. However, support for this theory is shaky at best. Halos are produced when light from the sun or moon interacts with ice crystals in the atmosphere. While they often appear near the sun or moon, halos can technically appear anywhere in the sky. Halos have been a part of weather lore throughout civilization. They typically signal rainfall within the next 24 hours. Due to the fact that they're caused by clouds that typically belong to frontal systems. These two explanations, however, don't take into account the strange light source that is clearly moving around the perimeter of the rings. Alternative UFO footage that may be documenting the same event was uploaded by Sage of Key in 2018. However, this footage only appears to show one circle surrounded by beams of moving light. Knowing the time of year or weather patterns associated with the footage could make it possible to figure out if these circles were merely part of a natural weather phenomenon. However, it doesn't appear that the world will get any answers about this footage anytime soon, unless the people or beings responsible make an announcement. The skies of the Philippines have long been a source of fascination and mystery, and a recently resurfaced video has reignited discussions around unidentified flying objects in the region. Shared by Elson Cabugon on Facebook's Alien Skies page, the footage was originally captured in 2014, but has only recently begun to capture public imagination. In the midst of a grey, cloudy afternoon, an unidentified object can be seen hovering in the sky. Near the end of the clip, the object flies away at speed. The nature and origin of this object remain unknown, sparking a wave of speculation among viewers. Interestingly, the footage has also triggered memories of a significant UFO sighting from the country's past. The event in question took place in Mabalacat, Pampanga, back in November 2000. Over this town and the nearby Angeles city, a mysterious light danced in the sky for 5 straight hours. The spectacle captivated local residents, with the strange glow remaining visible even under a cloudless sky. Elmore Scotia, the chief of the UFO team from the Philippine Atmospheric Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration, has been actively investigating such phenomena. His team found the Mabalacat incident particularly compelling, as the glow was visible even during periods of cloudlessness, leading them to dismiss the theory of it being a land-based halogen light reflecting in the clouds. Witnesses in Mabalacat described the light as greenish-white, dancing in alternating circular or straight east-west patterns. The light seemed to hover above the Sto Rosario Church in downtown Angeles, according to Noel Talabat, a resident of Barangay San Joaquin in Mabalacat. In drawing comparisons between the Mabalacat incident of 2000 and the footage captured by Elson Cabugon in 2014, intriguing parallels arise. Both involve unexplained lights or objects hovering in the sky, generating intrigue and speculation among locals and now the online community. Scotia and his team are determined to investigate the Mabalacat phenomenon thoroughly, aiming to provide a logical explanation to prevent potential hallucinations among residents, a common occurrence following reports of such strange phenomena. However, Scotia notes that his team's ability to investigate such mysterious astronomical phenomena is often limited due to budget constraints. As curiosity around the 2014 footage grows, memories of the Mabalacat incident are revived, reminding us that the skies over the Philippines continue to be a source of wonder and mystery. This next bizarre sighting comes from a webcam overlooking the coastline of Encinitas, California. Take a look. The footage was captured in May 2020 at around 10:30 p.m. In the water, you can see a flashing light. It moves several meters, then appears to fly out of the water. It then hovers in place and flashes some more, before disappearing entirely. On a side note, you can also see some nice bioluminescence in the waves in the foreground. So what's to be made of this unidentified flashing object? Strangely, the webcam was taken down the following day and this piece of footage was scrubbed from the archive. Interestingly, there have been several notable UFO sightings off the coast of California. One well-known example is a series of UFO sightings that occurred in 2004 and 5, known as the Nimitz Incident, in which several US Navy pilots reported encountering unidentified flying objects while on training exercises off the coast of California. Then in 2019, the US Department of Defense released a number of videos that showed encounters between military aircraft and unidentified objects.
Omaha, pick-me kid, Rafael Peralta, pass ability to launch helo ASAP.
The videos, which were recorded by pilots using advanced sensors and cameras, show objects moving at high speeds and performing seemingly impossible maneuvers. Here you can see an object flying at high speed before it descends into the ocean.
Yeah, we have a 30 knots sustained wind, topside, gust of 40.
What was splashed? Splashed. Mark bearing and range.
The Department of Defense stated that the videos were released in the interest of transparency and to clear up any misconceptions about the sightings. So why is there so much UFO activity just off the coast of California? Several commenters explained that they believe there are secret alien bases hiding in our oceans across the globe. This isn't a new theory, however, as many UFO enthusiasts have speculated that aliens may have been living in our oceans for years. Back in 2014, a series of bizarre lights was spotted off the coast of Malibu in California. Shortly after the sighting, ABC 7 News interviewed paranormal expert Jimmy Church, who claims he's found a reason for the strange lights in the sky. Using Google Earth satellite imagery, Church discovered a strange oval-shaped object in the waters off the coast of Point Dume in Malibu. He believes this could be some kind of alien base secretly hiding some 6 miles off the coast of California. So do you believe in aliens? And if so, do you think they're already here hiding in secret underwater bases deep beneath the sea? Love to hear your take on this in the comments down below. A keen eye from the land down under captured this strange object floating high in the sky. Uploaded to Reddit by user Pateza, this sky shot showing an unconventionally shaped object on a clear day was snapped by an Australian astrophotographer. While it's fairly easy to make out its triangle-shaped body, everything else about this craft is a mystery. To some, the image looks like a small triangle-shaped alien craft. Others have a much more mundane explanation, however. The skeptic answer to this image is that the astrophotographer simply snapped a photo of a balloon floating through the air. Many think it actually looks like a letter balloon that's shaped like an A. So what do you think's been captured on film here? Strange flying craft or simply a balloon? Let me know your theories in the comments section below. Most of us expect to see clouds above, land below, and the inside of our own eyelids when settling into a window seat on an airplane to relax. However, one passenger appears to have experienced a close encounter at 31,000 feet. A user named RevanTex uploaded to Reddit what appears to be footage of a fast-travelling UFO darting past an airplane window on a clear sunny day. What's interesting is that the object that zips past the airplane window seems to be flying low enough to be detected by radar. What's more, it comes startlingly close to the airplane itself. The whole encounter doesn't last much longer than the blink of an eye. Critics are quick to point out that the person who first shared the video was lucky enough to be filming the blank sky just as a UFO happened to pop into view. It does seem convenient. However, it's not uncommon for someone to document the sky outside their airplane window while travelling in this Instagram age we're living in. Uploaded by YouTube user Mysterious Things, this footage shows one of a few recent UFO sightings that showcases a craft that looks quite technologically impressive. Captured flying over a 2018 crowd in Quebec, the craft in question appears to be unlike anything we've seen before. Appearing to be extremely technologically advanced and unlike any craft created to date, the potential UFO appears more like something from a sci-fi movie than an airplane or helicopter. While this clip is short and at times the camera work is incredibly shaky, what we do see certainly raises some questions. With bright lights up and down the sides of the craft and a futuristic sci-fi design, the aircraft in question is unique. Without a concrete idea of where the flying aircraft in question could have come from, it seems the possibility of it being a legitimate alien craft is higher than your average UFO sighting. There's very little info on this piece of footage. It's supposedly taken by a couple as they flew over Poland in a commercial airliner. What their camera captured is very unusual. It appears to be a massive floating object drifting by the aeroplane. If anyone has any information on this clip or can translate what the couple is saying, please leave a comment below. Few humans have the extraterrestrial reputation of Stan Romanek. Romanek claims that he's had numerous encounters with aliens, including abductions, telepathic communications, and even forced interbreeding to create alien hybrid children. This video is supposedly evidence of one of his alien encounters. The story goes that on the night this footage was captured, Romanek had fallen asleep at his computer, while his stepson was having a sleepover with some friends. Something woke him in the middle of the night. In a sleepy haze, he thought he saw one of the young partygoers streak through the house naked. However, when he checked on the children, all of them were upstairs asleep. Just when he was about to give up his search, he spotted something terrifying at his sliding glass door. Watch. As you can see, the creature looks remarkably similar to the one we were talking about earlier in this video. It has grey skin and dark almond-shaped eyes. Again, much like the typical aliens seen in pop culture. It watches motionless from the doorway, even as the camera is pointed straight at it. So what do you think? Are Romanek's claims that he's had close encounters with extraterrestrials the real deal? This video has been analysed by numerous experts, but the jury is still out as to its authenticity. This next one's been duplicated, its titles altered and details changed numerous times over the years, so it's hard to pinpoint where and when exactly it was captured. But what it's captured is certainly eyebrow raising. Take a look. An odd-shaped object appears to be spinning in mid-air. It's a rusty brown colour and it almost looks to have a flashing light in the middle of it. Unfortunately, the footage is shaky, and that's because the object appears to be extremely far away. We can see this when the camera holder eventually zooms out. The object is a mere speck in the distance. Reddit user SingKid managed to stabilize the footage for us to get a better look at. Here you can see minute details that were previously impossible to see. This version claims to have been shot in Spain over 5 years ago. But there's also a version of the exact same footage that claims it was taken in Denver, Colorado. With the titles and location changing, it does cast a little bit of doubt over the authenticity of the footage. But nevertheless, it's certainly a striking piece of video, one that does make you wonder whether aliens could indeed be surveying our planet. This 17-second clip shared by user Like Greek on Reddit may be enough to make anyone a believer. Shot in Hong Kong on April 19th of 2021, this clip of the night sky definitely shows something strange. Viewers watch as a large, foreboding object descends from a milky night sky over a city landscape. The somewhat amorphous looking object is clearly covered in lights of some kind that make it stand out against the dark sky. However, the glimpse is very brief. The object continues to glide along before vanishing behind a large city building. The odd, undefined shape of this object raises many questions. Is it possibly a cluster of drones? Maybe. However, the cluster is not likely to be comprised of military drones, due to the lights that are clearly visible. It is possible that this is some type of coordinated drone show, put together by a group of amateurs looking to add a little bit of intrigue to Hong Kong's skyline. The way the object glides so naturally and smoothly adds to the mystery. The organic movements of the objects has led to some questions of whether this could be a flock of birds in flight over the city. While that doesn't explain the fact that the lights are clearly seen, it's possible that a white or light-coloured bird could be reflecting light in such a way that it appears there are floating lights in the sky. So I'll throw this strange piece of footage out to you, the viewer. What do you think's been captured on camera? Let me know down below. This next piece of UFO footage was supposedly recorded on September 8 of 2018. It was uploaded to YouTube by Rob Chapman. The sighting took place at Haver Timber in Wiltshire, England. The footage begins with one large bright object that can be observed in the sky. The object quickly pulls apart to be revealed as two separate UFOs.
Oh my god! That's branched off into two.
The two objects in the Wiltshire UFO footage appear to do a dance in the sky that resembles two fish gliding in sync.
What is that?
Both UFOs have long tails that streak against the sky.
That's being controlled.
The strangest part of the video happens near the halfway mark. The UFOs appear to let off dazzling explosions that resemble fireworks.
That's fireworks.
What's that?
Yeah, but fireworks don't act like that.
This causes the narrator to ponder if he's simply observing fireworks in the sky. However, even the narrator has doubts that these objects could be fireworks, based on the flexible way that they move in the sky.
Let's come back, the other one. Fireworks don't act like that. That's like... they don't go down and up.
The objects continue to dance in the sky after the fireworks show is over. Finally, the objects simply vanish.
They vanished again.
Yep.
What is going on in this video? Firstly, this is the first reported case of UFOs that emit firework-like objects. It's possible that the UFO footage is edited. However, it's more likely that these supposed UFOs are really just part of a case of mistaken identity. Throughout the video, the narrator comments that the UFOs appear to be controlled by something. It does appear that the objects are being controlled to perform swift rolling maneuvers in the air, the way a child might control a remote control car. It's highly possible that what was caught on film was simply a set of remote control planes with fireworks strapped to their wings. On September 21st, 2006, NASA released a still image that was captured in space that no one's been able to fully explain. A strange white object can be seen floating through space. It almost looks like a jellyfish in the ocean. The photo was taken by astronaut Daniel Burbank at around 11 AM on board the space shuttle Atlantis. NASA's official statement said it could possibly be some sort of small debris, but ultimately they couldn't say for sure, leaving the object unidentified. So what do you think this could be? A strange white veil just floating through space certainly piques one's interest, but I'd love to hear what you think it could be in the comments down below.
So when that happened, the only thing I can see in the backyard is a tall creature.
When TikToker Streets of Heaven Are Gold posted a video detailing a series of bizarre events that occurred in his neighbourhood, the internet immediately began to run rife with speculation. In his 7-minute plus retelling, the TikToker recalled his version of events from May 1st, 2023. He asserts that he and his brother are in the backyard of their Las Vegas residence around midnight when they unexpectedly heard an odd sound emanating from overhead. Upon turning, he witnessed a bright light falling from the sky, which was quickly succeeded by a thunderous crash as the object struck to the ground. The TikToker and his brother then began hearing footsteps all around them.
Thousands of footsteps around me.
That's when he claims to have spotted an entity standing between 8 and 10 feet tall, with an incredibly slender build. Acting quickly, the TikToker sought his father, who reportedly also observed the towering creature. His father then told the boys to go inside, at which point they captured this video. The OP is adamant that although you can't see the creature very well in the footage, it's definitely there. The TikToker alleges that when he went to fetch some tools, he encountered another entity closely resembling the first. He describes it as having a large face, a towering and gaunt frame, and that it was of a greenish-grey colour. Allegedly, as he looked the creature in the eye, he likened the sensation to the immobilizing effects of sleep paralysis.
It was a tall, skinny, lengthy creature. He was a gray-greenish color, and when I looked at it in the eyes, my body just froze. Like the same experience as having sleep paralysis. Keep in mind, I'm staring at him, and I look at his whole body, and he has a weird-looking feet and a big face. And eyes, and you can see a big mouth.
Seconds later, the TikToker gained control of his body and he ran back into the house. From there, he dialed 911. Take a listen to the call.
There's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and looking at us, and it's still there.
Okay, where is this on your property?
In my backyard. I swear to God, this is not a joke. This is actually, we're terrified of it.
So there's 2 people or 2 subjects that are in your backyard?
Correct, and they're very large. Big eyes, they have big eyes,
okay.
like I can't explain it, and big mouth. They're shiny eyes, and they're not human. They're 100% they're not human.
As the family waited for the police to arrive, they could allegedly hear what sounded like footsteps on their roof. This news footage shows the TikToker recounting the events to the officers.
What'd you see?
It was like a big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, like around 10 feet tall.
I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious. Did you see anything land in your backyard, or?
They see like a big, that's what they say. They see like a big something with light.
What I saw right now, I do believe in it.
Bizarrely, one officer tells the boy that his partner also saw something fall from the sky earlier that evening. Luckily, it was caught on their body cam. According to the TikToker, the police officers then entered the backyard where they discovered a perfect circle imprinted on the ground. Upon leaving the premises, one of the officers jokingly says to the TikToker and his family that, if those 9-foot beings come back, don't call us, alright? Deal with it yourself.
If those 9-foot beings come back, don't call us, all right? Deal with it yourself. I ain't dealing with that.
The boy then claims that he and his family re-entered the house and began praying. As they did, they heard a loud human-like scream coming from the backyard.
Like scream in the backyard.
Unfortunately, this is where the TikToker ends the video, noting he'll make a part 2 sometime in the future. However, it seems he's since deleted his account. Several skeptics have suggested that he might have made the story up for views or internet clout. Yet, not only was the story partially corroborated by the police officers, it seems that the TikToker no longer has a presence on the platform. A strange flying object spotted at the 2022 Miami Air and Sea Show has sparked a fierce debate over whether aliens already live here on Earth with us. Former NBA sports agent David Sugarman was attending the Air and Sea Show back in May when he inadvertently caught something truly strange on camera. Take a look. While filming a jet passing overhead, an unidentified object flies from the bottom of the screen upwards. In the original footage, the object is almost imperceptible. But in the slowed down version, you can clearly see an object moving through the air. Whatever it is, it looks like it comes straight out of the water. On closer inspection, the object looks like it's rotating, as you can see a white, reflective glint moving back and forth. Sugarman posted the clip to his Twitter, hoping for answers. The footage quickly got traction as hundreds of people scrambled to make sense of the bizarre flying object. Some said it could just be a bird. However, taking into account the acceleration of the jet and that the footage is slowed down, the bird would have to be moving at an incredible speed. A few people replied with footage of their own, saying that they too had recently seen similar objects flying through the sky. Take a look at this one from Twitter user 528vibes. Here you can see a similar looking object that also appears to be rotating the same way. So what has David Sugarman caught on camera at the Miami Air and Sea Show? Even with thousands of people scrutinizing the footage, the UFO is still no closer to being identified. This footage of a flying object was recorded in Ecuador. It was uploaded by Alien Invasion on YouTube in April of 2020. Viewers are supposedly watching a UFO sighting captured from a moving vehicle. You have to get about 56 seconds in before the encounter takes place. Like a flash of light, a UFO darts across the night sky overhead. It's impossible to make out any features of the aircraft, other than the fact that it's illuminated by blue lights. It's possible that the object is simply a shooting star that appears to be moving so quickly due to the speed of the car the footage was taken from. We may never know unless additional context is provided by the person who captured the UFO footage in the first place. So until then, this mysterious video will have to remain a mystery. This startling footage was taken in an unknown part of the Philippines in 2014. At first it's difficult to tell what's happening as the footage only shows two glowing objects on a dark background, but you can see smaller orb-like objects falling to the ground. A night vision lens is used to clarify the image, and what it captures is very striking. It's clear that this UFO is dropping numerous balls of light down on the ground. Are there any plausible explanations for this footage? Just like the previous photo, the following mysterious footage was also captured in Coos Bay, Oregon. On April 5th, 2023, 4 hunters recorded this bizarre video as they approached a clearing along a trail. The footage, shared to Reddit by Flimsy Union 1524, depicts a square or rectangular object that seems to be floating in the air. The strangest aspect of one of the eyewitnesses' account is that none of the hunters remember the event. They claim to have only discovered the footage while reviewing random video clips. In the footage, the hunters are seen observing the object, but they all seem to walk away nonchalantly as if witnessing such a sight was a routine occurrence. After reviewing the video, the eyewitness noted that the object appears to be about 300 feet away and hovering approximately 50 feet above the ground. So what is this mysterious object? An alien craft, secret military technology, and why do the hunters all have no memory of the event? Unfortunately, the answers to these questions and more continue to remain elusive. Now, if you enjoy these longer episodes, then check out our previous compilations. There's one right there. Otherwise, you can binge on our giant paranormal playlists right here as well. Now leave us a comment down below which one of these clips you thought was the scariest or weirdest. We love getting your feedback. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time.